It's week 3 of Soar America, and we're still in Texas. Welcome to Soar America. 2 couples, 2 dogs, and 2 Class B RVs on a cross-country road trip. Eric, our pilot, has challenged himself to fly all the way across the country in his sailplane in a series of connected flights. His wife, Julie, Tim, and I work as his crew. Join us as we soar, drive, and camp across America. And here we are starting week 3, somewhere in West Texas. We are somewhere south of Lubbock, and spent the night last night here at the airport. Gonna move to an RV park today and plan on spending a few days here. Weather doesn't look good for the next few days, so it looks like we'll have some rest days to hang out here.
So this is the thing that is so difficult to get non-soaring people to understand. It's been difficult with bosses, friends, family, everything, and that is you cannot fly cross country if the weather doesn't support it. And weather that most people would think is great flying weather, blue skies, it's not raining, or a few puffy cumulus clouds, and it's not terribly windy, doesn't necessarily mean it's a good enough day to fly cross country in a glider. You can run in any weather, you can go hiking in any weather. Some is more fun to do those things than other, but in a glider you need more than just any weather. You need primarily thermals that go high enough that you can reach the next safe place to land, and if you don't have that, there's not much cross country to be had.
We're in Lubbock, Texas. Specifically,
Where are we running?
we're running on the May Simmons Outer Loop. The May Simmons Outer Loop.
Which way is the wind blowing?
I'd say it's a manure wind. It's coming from the manure. You always name the wind by the direction it's coming from.
That sounds accurate. Yeah, manure wind.
Yeah, let's go that way.
There is a sewage treatment plant just upwind of us, just off the end of the lake. I looked it up on Google.
So on our off days, Julie and I spend the time making videos. So I think Julie's working on hers right now, so I'm gonna go see how she's doing. Hi. I had a feeling you were working on videos. So this is what we do on our days off. So what do the guys do when you have time off?
Well, this is a first, but we're working on soaring forecasting. Class on soaring forecasting.
Of course, we also opened up the vehicle hood and looked under the hood.
That's right.
Looked under the wheel.
That's what men do. We weren't looking for anything in particular. We just wanted to look like what it is.
Huh? So this is what happens on a non-fly day in the middle of West Texas. Yeah. This is what we do. Yep. Texas is so dusty, and we want to leave our door open so that we get airflow so that we don't get too hot, but that means that all the dust comes inside. It's not surprising to anyone that one of the issues of living in a Class B RV is space. Our aisle in our van is not even as wide as a yoga mat. So finding space to exercise can be tricky. We're on a gravel pad, so I don't want to put the yoga mat out on gravel. And even if I did, it is so windy outside today that when Julie and I tried to put our mats out earlier, they just kept flapping in the breeze, and we couldn't get them to stay down. So we're gonna have to figure out how we can still do our workouts when we can't go outside and there's not enough space inside. A beautiful sunset in Lubbock, Texas. It's a beautiful day for flying, isn't it, Eric?
The best. It's the Soaring pilot's favorite weather. Cold drizzle.
The whole team out for a run and then breakfast. Since we can't fly, no golfing sign. Right at the golf course. Who did that? Okay, so it is 9:30 at night. We are at the RV park, and this is what the radar looks over us, and you can hear it. It is not fun to be in the middle of a thunderstorm in an RV.
As you can see, the epicenter is heading right for an RV park.
Of course.
Must be another one up here.
We've heard some hail, and Tim unplugged us, so we're not plugged into any power. But there may not be much sleep for a while. There was just a huge crash of thunder that sounded really, really close. I really wish we weren't in Lubbock right now. And there's really not much we can do.
One thing would be to try to leave and find an underpass. It's probably everybody else and hide under it. I don't know where the nearest one is right now.
It would be right down here where we do that U-turn to come in.
Yeah.
Feels like too late. We are getting bombed. How long before it passes? Is it really wide?
Supposedly it's not even on us yet, according to this.
Oh, look at all those lightning strikes.
It says 9:30.
5 minutes ago.
I don't know how you get to the... It looks like there's some... Usually when they draw these boxes, that's worse areas,
Okay.
I think. That's where they're tracking.
That's where the warnings are. Warnings and watches.
Yeah, I think if we were...
So we're just outside of the box, it looks like.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Just this is... if that goes a little bit... If that travels that way,
Yeah.
this may come up later. It's kind
It's
of
going north.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't be in the worst of it.
Still, it's showing me 9:30.
So Eric is hoping to be able to fly tomorrow. He gave us about a 30% chance that he could fly. Hoping the weather would be better tomorrow. But I tell you, I don't want to drive east and head into these storms again. We're kind of hoping that they'll get way past us before we head east. I think we may be up late tonight. Okay, so here we are, stepping out of the van the morning after the big storm. Clear and bright this morning. Looks like they got a little bit of rain last night. We're running an obstacle course this morning. 2 observations I have about running in West Texas. First, it is more humid in the mornings and windier in the afternoons. And second, this mud on the streets and sidewalks is ridiculous. Tim and I have almost fallen multiple times. Whew.
Right. So at our team meeting, we were discussing kind of our situation, which is we've been in the same place for about 10 days. The weather forecast is not looking really promising for any flying, especially trying to get across the country. So this leaves us with trying to figure out what do we do next. And I think we're all kind of tired of being in one place this long. I think, the goal of the trip was to move, to be flying, maybe take a few days here and there. And it's been really tough to do. So, talking with Eric about the forecast, the way things are looking, we've kind of decided that, we want to, pack up and maybe delay the trip for a little bit. But, we're looking right now heading up into New Mexico, maybe going in the Santa Fe area, doing some exploring in that. So, taking this time while the weather's not cooperating and do some, some sightseeing, see some places that we might like to see and experience some things along the way. But keep our eye on the weather. I think he's kind of expecting that, when the weather turns around, it'll be just like it's not been very good for soaring, that will be a transition where there'll be many soaring days. So, at that, when we start to see that change, we'll kind of evaluate, what we want to do at that point. So we decided to stay here one more night in Lubbock. Could probably write a song about that. And then we're making plans to see where to head next. So I think we're going to look at packing up the glider and taking it with us. The possibility is we may launch out of a different airport, along the route. It'll depend on the weather and some different things, but we'll put that off till that time. But I have about 2 weeks left before I'm supposed to go back to work. So, I want to make the most of it, enjoy it. I think, we're not really sitting on the beach here in the middle of Lubbock or in the mountains. So I think everyone was like, yeah, let's go do some exploring, and we'll wait for the weather and see if it'll start to cooperate with us a little bit later.
Join the Soar America team next time as we travel through Roswell, New Mexico, and spend a few days in Santa Fe. Subscribe to our channel to keep up with all our adventures.